Hey guys, welcome back now. Game number 2 of the Gary Kimmelman Cup final. This is a LAN hosted in Vietnam at the PlayDota arena. It's a very fancy Dota LAN center in Vietnam. They're playing for, I think the winner gets around $200. It's not the biggest money involved, but at least, you know, this was a tournament set up for fun, and the fact that they've managed to gain this much traction and to get a tournament set up like this is pretty cool. I'm Zambrella, joined by the one and only Big Tits McGee. We're from the UK. And game number one was, we thought the skill level was fairly even, but the drafting from IM.911 could have maybe been better. They had the Faceless Void in game number one, maybe didn't have enough to combo with it. Do you think this Clinks is enough?
I think it's a bit early to be picking up Clinks in a draft generally. I mean, he does a lot of damage, probably more than a Drow for the early game anyway. So, I mean, they can get a lot more kills with that, I think, early game than with the Drow they had last time. But yeah, I think it's very early to pick up Clinks. It's a hero that's not really banned that often and quite easily countered.
And there's the Slardar to give the vision.
Yeah, I mean, already they have Slardar, so
once again, CGC, they pick up the Disruptor for themselves as well. We saw how much work they did last time, grabbing those heroes with the Glimpse, knocking them down. But now the IO. Always a hero that I absolutely hate playing because I'm not any good at it, but you can see some players are so good at it. They can save allies. The last second relocates back to base as well. It can have a huge impact with a tiny as well. Jeez.
Okay, so they're really going all in on that IO tiny combo. I thought there was a chance that they maybe ran some kind of IO Slardar lane somewhere, because that would be quite a strong lane, either in off lane or mid.
Yeah. And they already picked up the Disruptor, which is one of the biggest counters to the IO, well, the IO plus any sort of strong core hero combo. You see them coming in, you put down the Static Storm, or you just send one of them back, and suddenly it's, instead of being a 2v1, it's a 1v1 or whatever.
And you can see they're picking, already on IM.911, they're picking a lot more damage to put in the Chrono, because I think that was something they really lacked last game. So yeah, then they've now got the Lich, and the Lich is kind of a twofold buff up to Void, because it obviously combos nicely with his Chrono, but it also means that they're probably going to run a dual lane off lane with the Lich Void. And so that gives the Void a very easy laning stage. And that's a really strong dual lane that can shut down most safe lanes. And with the Clinks pick as well, it means that because Clinks can generally beat any offlaner, just 1v1, which will give the Rasta, he can roam mid, roam top, do whatever he wants really.
I like the Lich against the IO.
Yeah, good pickings for that as well.
Final heroes now. So mid hero for IM.911, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think they're looking for a mid. Again, same as last game, is if I were in their position, I'd be looking for something I could put in the Chrono, really.
Death Prophet would have been pretty good.
Actually, I think quite a nice area for them right now is Zeus, because they need to think about their mid having to lane into a tiny IO lane. And so, okay.
Okay.
I mean, I would have never suggested that hero if you gave me 50 goes. That would not have been on my list. I mean, it may be a Clinks mid. I have seen a Juggernaut mid has been picked a couple of times in Pro Dota recently.
Maybe, I guess they feel like they could sort of like do their own IO tiny dual lane mid with the Lich.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that they do that they run, Jug Lich mid. And just go into the IO tiny.
What? Beastmaster made it through to the 5th pick? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's very surprising. I think out of all the heroes in Dota at the moment, the only one that I would comfortably say is definitely a first ban hero is Beastmaster.
Yep. This one we see banned so much. I was looking at some stats for the Pro Dota PDL.
Yeah.
Those tournaments. I think Beastmaster was literally, I think that was one game out of 60 odd games where it didn't get banned or picked?
Yeah, I was doing my Manila predictions the other day, and the only one I felt actually comfortable about doing was the which hero we banned most. It's definitely Beastmaster.
Even with his nerf to his jungling capabilities, he's still like okay at going into the jungle if need be.
Yeah, I think the heroes just. I think the fact that you get Necro 3s, and I mean, even if you get them a bit slow at say like 25 minutes, you can pretty much solo kill everyone as just an off laner on 70-second cooldown. And you can just anyone out of position just dies. I think he's just really really strong. But that's the thing about I think Dota where it is right now compared to where it was last patch is really interesting, because last patch there were 6 or 7 heroes that were just completely and utterly broken.
Yeah.
Whereas right now I don't think there's a single hero that's OP. I think there's just 15 or so like strong heroes, and then everyone else is pretty strong. So it's really interesting from a drafting point, because I think right now you can kind of pick pretty much anything you feel comfortable on, and it works.
That's right. Like you see heroes like Elder Titan getting some more love as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, is usually by now in a patch people have started to figure out who the OP heroes are, and they're kind of first ban, first pick every game. Whereas no one's really figured out what's strong. Phoenix is pretty strong. I think Titan is really, really good at the moment. I think there's going to be some really interesting heroes that come into the fold for Manila.
Looking forward to that. That's only a few days away. But anyway, right here, right now, we've got CGC playing up against IM.911. Second game, first game going the way of CGC with what maybe was the better draft, but this time around, I think we're feeling a little more confident with this Void pickup on IM.911's side, just because they got the Clinks, the Lich, and even Juggernaut with his Omni Slash can do damage inside the Chronosphere.
Yeah, the Void should have a slightly easier time this lane, I think, with two heroes committed to the mid lane.
Yep. And the IO Tiny mid will be battled up by, it is a Juggernaut mid, like you mentioned, it's been seen a little bit. Be interesting to see where this Lich goes. He did deny a creep in the mid lane, but it looks like he's going to head up top for now, try and do what he can against this Beastmaster. I'm not sure how much like Shadow Shaman can really help out this lane. I mean, if the Beastmaster does get out of position, yeah, they can bring him down pretty quickly with Strafe and Searing Arrows, but as long as Beastmaster plays this safe, he should be okay, I think.
Shadow Shaman's quite a strange sport to lane with, because he has unbelievable kill potential. I think he's one of the best heroes in the game in terms of killing the offlaner, just because he has so much lockdown. But when he's not killing them, he's not really that useful. He's like low attack damage, low HP, just a bit squishy on the whole, really.
Yeah, and you got to get up close to get that Hex and Shackles off as well. And Clinks doesn't have a slow or a stun. I mean, if Lich could maybe come up from behind and get the Frost Blast off the slow, that might be enough, but either way. The Lich has come towards this mid lane again, Juggernaut, trying to keep himself healthy with that healing ward. Undeniably, the IO is a better support than Lich, though, for this situation.
Yes. The Lich is useful if he stays there and just sacrifices creeps off cooldown. It's obviously really useful for the Jug, but I don't know how much farm he can really secure him.
Now look at this Beastmaster getting aggressive on the Clinks already, and there's nothing really Shadow Shaman could do. The boar slow, too good. Surprised he didn't actually skeleton walk. We do see though the Clinks, he's picked up an early Blightstone here, so extra -2 armor. He's obviously going to be going for more than likely going to go for a Deso at least, if not a Medallion.
Yeah, I think in this game the Deso rush is really quite really potent, especially because the mid lane of CGC, both the Tiny and the IO, are both 0 armor heroes. So any form of minus armor just completely tears through them.
Yeah, you can, if the Clinks can get on the back line and blow up the IO with probably 3-4 shots once he gets the Deso, if not less. As Beastmaster, this could be our first blood. Looks like they did manage to get the Hex and the Shackles off, but he's been kiting these enemy heroes around with the help of his boar. I'm not sure he's going to be able to make it, as he's going to get pincered in. Shadow Shaman getting enough mana, gets the Hex off as well. The right click start coming in, throwing out the axes as Clinks. He's going to end up going down. Yes, first blood go the way of IM, but the Beastmaster probably doesn't feel too salty about that.
Yeah, that's really, really good for the Beastmaster to have got that return kill.
Those axes, they did a surprise. They're up to level 2. This is
it's an
something we don't
interesting
see.
skill build. Don't often see the leveling wild axes really at all until a lot later in the game generally.
You might see the casual level 1, but going all the way up to level 2, a little strange, but it pays off. It really does.
Yeah, I think his reasoning for doing this is generally with Beastmaster you level Inner Beast and the summons because you generally have to go jungle.
Yeah.
And so the attack speed aura is better for jungle. But he's actually doing really well in this lane. And you can see there maxing axes, he even has kill potential. So, and he doesn't really need the attack speed aura for laning. So
towards this mid lane, Juggernaut and the Tiny pretty much neck and neck here. Almost equal on, well, they were just about equal on last hits and denies exactly.
Yeah, it's quite surprising how much the Jug's actually getting out of this lane. And I mean, he's winning mid. He's got, you know, more CS, and he's actually a higher level than the Tiny because the IO's been there constantly, whereas Lich has been in and out of this lane.
Pretty much just been there for the denies and already found level 3.5 without actually taking much away from the Juggernaut. Just throwing out a casual ice armor every so often. You know, really
yeah, this is really good for the Juggernaut actually.
Let's have a little check into this bottom lane. The Faces Void battling up against the Slardar. Slardar up to 23 CS with 9 denies, but you know, Faces Void, level 4.5, got a few last hits as well. I'd say he's doing equally as well as the Beastmaster. Yeah, the Beastmaster did get an extra kill, I guess, but looking like a much more even laning stage this 5-minute mark than game number 1.
Oh, they're going for a kill on top as well. I was rotated top with Beastmaster, and yeah, the kill clinks.
Nice grab for them there. So yeah, me saying that laning phase going easy earlier at 5 minutes. IO with the help on the Beastmaster didn't even have level 6 and no raw, so managing to find that kill is very nice.
And this is quite worrisome for the clinks now because generally the clinks works well off just free farming. You aim to win any lane you're in because he's so dominant 1v1, and you essentially just secure free farm until Deso and then roam. But with 2 deaths already at 6 minutes, it's looking quite scary for this clinks.
He's afraid again. He's worried. Goes in Fizz just because that Beastmaster shows up, and there's a Sentry Ward down as well. So Clinks knows of this though. Towards this top lane, Juggernaut dodges the stun with the spin. He's now level 6, but no mana for that Omni Slash. And actually, it looks like IO Tiny, they're going to continue chasing after him. A lot of damage comes out very far to keep him healthy. Now the Bottle is actually going to cancel straight away by the balls coming in. Lich might want to throw out an Ice Arm. He's also, he doesn't have mana for the Frost Blast, but with this extra TP coming in, the Duke's into tree line. Now the Omni Slash coming through, but it doesn't quite manage to dodge the second Avalanche that comes through. They're looking for more. Can they catch this Lich? The last right click coming in from the IO, and now the Faces Void showing up, but Tiny and IO still alive. No bottle charges left, and now the Tiny goes down, then the IO. So there is a trade in the end. IO Tiny overextending towards these T2s.
It's a big rotation in from Clinks getting that double kill. It's really helped him catch up after the death he's had.
Yeah, you saw like with the maxed out Searing Arrows how much damage he can do against the IO Tiny. Both, like you said, pretty much 0 armor. There's now 1 armor on the Tiny. Leveled up, but that Omni Slash nearly worked out in favor of the Juggernaut as well, but obviously the Avalanche
quite close.
Stun. How long does it stick around? It's like a couple of seconds that it sticks around for.
I actually have no idea.
This stun duration is 1 second.
Yeah, but the actual animation's around for 2 or so.
Only being a level 1 Omni Slash. The 3 bounce is not enough to keep him out of harm's way. But look at this Beastmaster. He's got his level 6 now. With the IO there, they could maybe look to try and chase whoever shows in this top lane, but smartly so, I think IM they realize we're going to have to play a little bit more carefully around the Beastmaster.
Yeah, I think when CGC get all their 6s up, this game gets quite scary, because Beastmaster can scout with Hawk, and then the Tiny IO relocate on top of a Raw. That kills anyone, wherever they are. So the vision game is going to be really important for IM, just trying to scout these ganks, basically.
They have to send multiple heroes to the top lane, smoked up potentially, and Shadow Shaman Lich there on the back lines. Klink's invis without a Sentry Ward down. This Io's gonna have to play careful. Klink's, does he? Yeah, he's still got the Death Pact running, but look at the Jukes. They find the Beastmaster. Io ready. Doesn't have to relocate though. Does he even show himself? Doesn't look like he will. Smart thinking, because with the extra rotation coming in the Faceless Void, who now has level 6, that could have spelled his doom as well. But a lot of commitment for this offlane Beastmaster.
Yeah, it's 4-man rotation to the top.
Meanwhile, back towards this mid lane, the spin comes out from Juggernaut. Doesn't have, actually does have Omni Slash back up. He's got stick charges as well. Might have to use those if he wants to get the Omni Slash off. There we go, onto the Slardar. But still, he's alive now. The O comes in, keeping him healthy. Stick charges abound. And now Juggernaut dodges the Avalanche, but the toss coming in from the coming in from the Tyno, throwing the Shadow Shaman his way. But still, the Klinks continues to come to this mid lane. He's now on a mega kill streak with his second double kill. Now up to 6 kills. IO goes down again just for Juggernaut.
Klinks has just got so much out of these early rotations. He's played this so well.
Now the Slardar, 1, 2. Oh, if he didn't sprint, he might have survived there. Then I guess the Klinks would have just continued chasing him, but maybe the IO would have been able to... Not the IO, the Disruptor would have been able to glimpse away.
And Klinks is actually opting for the Orchid, which I can't say I'm a fan of. I don't think it's a good item in this game. But we'll have to wait and see how it works out, really.
Yeah, I have this discussion with my friends a lot, and I think we generally agree that just going straight Deso is the way to go. And even if you do go back for the Orchid, that's fine. But just going for the Deso first is just so impactful.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is if he goes for the Deso, he can kill pretty much... I mean, he can kill Tiny IO and Disruptor. And obviously he can like push towers and stuff. Whereas if he goes for the Orchid, I don't think it really adds anything to what he can do. There's no particular silence targets that are that good this game.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how it pays off in the end. But I'm with you on this one. But he's looking to wrap around here with the help of the Shadow Shaman, who's now got level 6. Maybe they can get some damage done to this tower. Shadow Shaman wrapping around this IO with the relocate to try and save this Tiny. Gonna have to use it very quickly if he wants to try and save him out. They do. Relocate him back. The long range shackles traveling across a good few hundred units there. Are they going to commit this? The Chronosphere is going to be used. They also commit the Serpent Wall. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, not going to too much. Oh, he walks back inside the Chronosphere. They bring him down. The Roar, it's straight onto the Faceless Void. He goes down. But it's a 1-for-1 trade-off at the moment. But the Serpent Walls, they catch the Disruptor just from long range. And that's going to be the end of that. In terms of numbers, it just about favors IM, but there's a core for 2 supports.
They did commit a lot for that though. Chrono and Serpent Wards are down.
Yeah, they couldn't get the tower with those Serpent Wards, which is what is the best use for, or one of the more efficient uses of it.
I think IM need to be putting more focus on the IO in team fights. It's, if you're noticing in all these little skirmishes that are happening, they're focusing on the Tiny or the Beastmaster, and there's just an IO sitting behind him, just healing him and damage reduction.
Yeah.
I think if they can, especially with a hero like Klinks, I think what they need to be doing is initiating on, Tiny with the Void and the Jug, while Klinks is in the back lines, and picks off the IO instantly. Yeah. And it'll make the team fight a lot easier.
I haven't seen much of this Juggernaut, actually, to be honest. He's had a couple of okay Omni Slashes, but it's already level 1. I think they were both on the Tiny, so it only takes him down to about half HP.
Yeah, the level 1 Omni Slash doesn't really do that much damage if it's split around people in team fights. You generally only want to use that level 1 ult for solo kills. Because the 3 bounces, it only kind of deals about 600 damage.
There's a Roar on the Juggernaut in the mid lane as iTiny. They got the tower in the top lane, but they come back to this mid lane. Beastmaster does end up going down. Klink's helping out with that. He's still alive, running himself away. He's invis, but with the do they have vision on him? It looks like they do. Was he dusted? Yeah, he was dusted up. The glimpse back is gonna wear off fairly shortly, but with the sentry, it's gonna help out. He turns up to the Disruptor. One more is gonna be enough. This Klinks is now godlike. He turns to try and fight this Tiny. He's gonna have to try and get himself out of here. He's got the Soul Ring to give himself enough mana to run himself away. He's still alive. Only Justin. Where's the detection? They actually have it. He's got amp damaged up, but look at the Chronosphere. Comes in at perfect time. Klinks takes the creep's health and turns it into his own and damage as well. And means he's going to survive for now. The amp damage going to wear off fairly shortly. The toss bringing him down to 85 HP. He's healing up, regenning as well. And they just can't seem to catch up to him. Juggernaut showing himself. The Omni Slash doing a fair bit of damage. One more right click onto the Clinks will be enough. The Slithering Crush gets there in time. We saw the Clinks. He just didn't... Well, Death Pact was on cooldown, so couldn't get the creep. But the chase onto the Tiny now. So a couple of lucky procs of that time lock will be enough to find this guy. And he's got the Blink Dagger board up. 5 stick charges. They really need this bash if they're going to catch up to the Tiny. And yeah, they're not going to be able to.
And that was a very long, drawn-out fight.
Yeah.
Starting at the tier 1, going all the way up here, and then all the way back here. Yeah, I mean, they got the Clinks kill, which is really big, but it took them a lot of time, and they dropped a lot of kills in return for it, so... Not really sure how worth it was in the end.
He didn't lose too much gold either. He's very close to that Orchid now.
Yeah, almost got the Orchid, so hopefully he can get stuff done with that. But, I mean, Sladar's got his armlet off that fight, so... Now he can look towards building into the Blink. And he is quite farmed, actually. Tiny has his Blink as well. So, you know, they've got some tools to pick people off.
And talking picking people off, that's going to be the Juggernaut going down. Beastmaster with his level 1 Necro and a Raw used. No more Juggernaut.
Yeah, and you'll see now the potency of, you know, their level 6s and their first core items on CGC. Blink combo from Tiny is going to do a lot to them. You know, Raw with Necros is going to do a lot. They've got Relocate up. Slardar armlets, he's a lot harder to kill.
Definitely going to be up to Blinks at the moment, sitting top of the net worth. What can he do with this Orchid, which should be coming his way very... he's already got it now.
Yeah, he's got it. I mean, it's a really good timing for the items he has. Thanks to his the 10 kills he's somehow managed to get.
10 out of the 13 kills. He's actually not only been... He's not been part of 1 kill for his team.
Yeah, it's really well played from Clinks. The hero is quite strange to play because you have to find a really perfect balance between ganking and farming. Because you either sit and gank all the time and then you get behind, or you farm too much and then you don't get ahead enough to fight. But he's just made really...
Not the fastest farmer either, so...
Yeah, he's just made really well calculated rotations that have always resulted in kills. So
gonna go for another one now, level 11 with this Orchid. If you could just quickly grab the Disruptor, he'll be a happy man, and I think that's what he's gonna end up doing. No, he's looking for more. He wants to try and find this Slardar. Not gonna be an easy pickup with the help of the armlet. He might need some help, and speaking of help, we do see the Void come down. They see the Disruptor though, they focus on him. The Omni Slash even committed. This Lich gets to grabs that last hit.
Yeah, with this rotation of their whole team actually down to the bot lane, I hope they're gonna try and push this tower with Rast wards.
I don't know, maybe they want to think about defending though. They're so tiny, pushing in the mid lane. That time, what's he finished up on that? Curious at his drums. It is indeed the drums. Drum. Do we look towards an Axe now for the Tiny?
I think in this game you should. I think you could potentially get away with the more space creating build.
Zio is going to be the one focused down here by the Clinks. Very nicely found there. The Disruptor, Kinetic Field, Static Storm is going to be off the mark both times. And Clinks now rolled up focus, but the Avalanche is just enough to bring down the Chronosphere, only catching out the Slardar. As Tiny starts doing what he can, hits that level 11 and sheds his skin to get himself bigger there as Faceless Void bashed up, slowed down as well. Beastmaster draining his mana thanks to his Necro Creeps. And yes, the IO went down first, but CGC finding 2 important kills there as the spin comes out just in time for the Juggernaut, stopping that glimpse.
I think this game's quite scary for Clinks, to be honest, because I mean, Beastmaster can just kill him, can solo kill him at any point with his Necros and Raw. So I think he really needs to be careful about his positioning in these team fights, because if he gets rawed, I think I have quite a hard time in these fights.
Beastmaster can pretty much just solo pick off anyone now, I think, especially as when he gets that Necro 3, which is not very far away with the help of the extra gold coming in for taking down Roshan.
Yeah, and it's a good timing on Necro 3s. It's kind of what you aim for. I mean, he's had a really good game. The max axes build, he didn't end up maxing axes actually. He just went for two early points.
realizing that was enough and get a decent time on that Necro book, and suddenly those Necros are going to be hitting a lot faster thanks to the Inner Beast.
Yeah, and he'll probably look to move into a Blink Dagger as his next major item. Maybe a Vlad's for the push.
Tiny looks like with this Ogre Club is, I don't know.
I think he'll probably look into Echo Saber. When I first read that item was being put in the game, the first hero I thought of was Tiny, just because it adds an extra 200 odd damage to your Avatos combo, really. Because if you blink on top of someone and Avatos, and then with Echo Saber you get 2 right clicks, it makes his Avatos combo do about, I think it's about 1300 damage.
Yeah, I want to stay away from that.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much anyone on the side of the Dire, unless Klinks actually has a creep inside him. But yeah, he's sitting on
it's a scary amount of damage. Tiny's a hero that really benefits from that double hit, because obviously he's got a terribly slow attack speed.
Yeah.
And massive attack damage, so getting a double hit for free is really beneficial on him.
Lala's got his Blink Armlet combo. Now the Vit booster, probably building into the Vanguard, I would imagine.
I've seen a couple of people, I mean mainly How, they have been building just a casual Vit booster on these strength heroes. I've seen them do it on Spectre and on Slardar, and you essentially just buy a casual Vit booster for tankiness, build into your next item, like a BKB or something, and then go back for a heart.
Okay, yeah.
It could be that.
Now you mention it, I remember seeing it a couple of times.
Yeah, I think How's the one that kind of led the way with it, I think, mainly on his Spectre. And it does seem to work out really well.
Right, Klinks is going straight in for that Bloodthorn with a Crystallis pickup. Now blink on forward, the Avatos combo, there we go. Shadow Shaman's still alive, gets the Hex off. Follow up from the face from the Slardar, faces before he gets stunned up, so couldn't get the Chrono off. And fine, Io gets picked off in the sidelines now. Nice pickup there from the Klinks. He might look to try and reinitiate this Tiny. Yes, he does have the Aegis, but would rather not just throw it away.
Yeah, I think this is where you want to take a fight with the Io down, and you have your Chrono up.
Oh, they found someone. The Slithering Crush comes out. Now the Avatos combo. That's what we're looking for. Brings down the Faceless Void. There's the Static Storm. Kinetic Field not catching anyone. The Chain Frost bouncing around the spin from the Juggernaut doing a fair amount of damage. Are they going to be able to bring down this Tiny? They do, but it's just his first life. As Lich pays with his life, Beastmaster thought about TPing out. He's going to cancel that out now as the crit's coming in. But Shadow Shaman, he's the next one to fall. Into the grave he goes as Juggernaut. He's trapped inside, surrounded by Radiant heroes. And that fight suddenly turned very quickly in favor of CGC.
Yeah, the IO came back in and just kind of repaired all the damage that had been done. Beast still had his roar up, which I didn't realise. And that really shut them down during that fight, to be honest.
And the push continues to see Tiny. He hits pretty hard onto these towers. Doesn't have the tree to help him out, but still.
Yeah, and he actually. Oh, it's a big Chrono landed though.
Yeah, Klinks, he's looking to try and grab someone, but he's not sure who goes on. Finally catches out the Beastmaster, and now wailing in. Can he catch the Slardar? It's not quite enough damage, needs crits. Finally, he goes down. The double Ava combo comes in from the Tiny as he gets slowed up thanks to that Frost Blast. I relocated a short distance to the west as the TP out from Disruptor might keep him safe. Looks like it will. Shadow Shaman tossed up into the air, gets the shackles onto the Tiny. No relocate to save this guy now, but he's pretty tanky. It's just these two supports trying to right click him as he does get brought down in the end. That was Shadow Shaman throwing out the last Ether Shock to bring him out of this fight.
And some really good return kills there. You know, help them stall out this game a little bit longer. Yeah, committed their cooldowns, but definitely worth it. And they are getting I think they are getting the kills they need to stay in this game. It's just map control they're really lacking. Oh yeah, you can see there.
Disruptor.
Yeah.
3-shot. It's like, yeah, I'll grab this rune. Klink shows up and goes, oh, well, you're going to regret this.
Yeah, you can. It's a really sad game to be a support for CGC at the moment. This Klink just does so much damage.
He could definitely, like, if you can get the backlines and Iron Disruptor fairly close, you could probably just, like, Orchid one of, well, I say Orchid, Bloodthorn one of them, right-click the other one in 3 shots, focus the next one, and take the 2 out in 2-3 seconds.
Yeah, and I think that's what they need to do to win fights, to be honest. They need the Clinks to be killing Disruptor and IO before they get all their spells off.
You don't really want to be focusing this tanky Slardar with a VIP booster and an armlet. This Tiny who's inevitably going to have an IO behind him as well. It's just not enough. And they're going to smoke up as 4, faces 4. It looks like he wasn't quite caught in that one. He does have that Chrono up in 10. But Clink's leading the way. What's this Juggernaut got now? He's gone for the Manta style. Probably into Diffusal Blade.
Yeah, it looks like he's moving into Diffusal next.
There's the Omni Slash IO just deleted from the game. Couldn't quite get that tether off in time. Not expecting the Juggernaut to rotate in. Now the Chronosphere, they've caught out. It's the Tiny. Who are they focusing? The Static Storm goes down as the Clink's caught out. Not really dealing too much damage. Finally brings down the Slardar. Focusing on the Disruptor. Gets a nice lot of right-click damage. No crit, though, to bring him down that quickly. But yeah, they're going to be able to find the Disruptor. Slowed down thanks to the Frost Blast. And that's 4 dead from CGC very quickly. These fights are very explosive. It was a good pick-up on that Tiny as well.
Yeah, it was a really nice pick-up to get the Tiny in the backlines, as well as the fight near the tier 2.
Beastmaster goes for the roll on the Juggernaut in this top lane, though. The TP support is incoming. Can they bring him down in time? The spin helping him survive a little bit, and still, he's chased by the Necro Creep, but finally goes down. The Beastmaster kept healthy by the IO. Well, fairly healthy, not that healthy. It's going to cost him the IO's life as well, so all 5 dead in the grave.
On the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm slightly confused how they've managed to get a team wipe in 3 different fights, basically. But well, I mean, well played to them. I thought that there was a chance IM were about to start really losing control on this game, but then they took the fight near their tier 3, and then this fight now, and you know they're looking in a lot more commanding position. Yeah, if you look at the net worth chart, so what 6k, 7k swing.
Yeah, and they're really far ahead in experience as well. Those extra levels might start really paying off.
Jugstein got his level 16 ult, and that does a lot of damage now. This Clinks is just, yeah.
It helped the Diffusal Blade as well, and yeah, this Clinks do another. Okay, I'm sure he's bought another item. Wow, blows this guy up, and now goes for the Tiny. Tiny turns on the BKB. Avatos comes out, but one more right click. Second one is going to be enough. And now Disruptor, he's got to be so careful. The TP comes out, keeping Clinks. I don't know, he probably could have brought down this Disruptor, worried about the backup, but there is no backup. Throws out the last right click, gets himself a triple. Oh, baby.
Yeah, that's they can't be letting this happening. This Clinks is just getting so far out of control.
Even that Tiny, he turned on the BKB almost as soon as the Bloodthorn came out, but
yeah, that was the 10-second BKB as well.
Yeah.
What they need to do, CGC need to get observers up on their half of the map and couple them with sentry wards, I think now, so that they can have vision of this Clinks roaming around. Yeah, if they don't do that, they can't actually leave their base.
And Roshan, I think, will probably be the objective now for IM. 911, gonna.
They'll want the Aegis on this Clinks, to be honest, because he's going to give up a lot of gold if he dies.
And if he can sit like more comfortably on the front lines, hitting towers as well.
Yeah, it gives them a lot better potential to siege.
I'm not actually heading there straight away. Maybe sort of like doing half a fake back here, hoping someone might show their face. Yeah, look at the Clinks. He's gonna probably just bring down this Hawk. Provides too much vision. No. Not just yet. And he's going for the wraparound, trying to bring down his Tiny. Tiny's got that BKB, but so does the Clinks. Throws out the right clicks, does get roared up, and looks inside the Static Storm. Not that that really matters. The Chronosphere actually catches no one. They get the Beastmaster. Oh no, he did. He was on the tail of it, and now Slardar Omni slashed up, gets caught by most of that. Now the right clicks the Avatar. Well, it's just a toss combo. Throws him up in the air. Tiny gets shackled. The Glimpse not going to be able to cancel that in time. 4 dead from CGC. Man, I didn't actually catch that Slardar in the end, but IM.911 certainly did.
Yeah, he unfortunately walked into the Chrono. A slight misplay from him. Probably could have got out if that wasn't happening. We should see IM now just push for racks, maybe force buybacks if they have them. And if not, I assume they take racks.
Slada IO have buybacks, but I mean, that's not going to be enough here. I think they just have to give up at least this racks, maybe even the mid set of racks as well. We know how quickly they can take down buildings here. They're just going to ignore that ranged barracks, focus on the more important T3 and then the melee barracks. Clinks with the searing arrows.
Clinks just does too much damage. I don't think they have the tools to deal with him now he has that BKB.
So that's basically 2 melee barracks, 2 T3s going the way of IM. It's going to be extra gold as well after that big team fight. Next big item for Clinks, you know. Okay, straight picks up the Deso. I was like, he's got 1500 gold. He can go for that next item if he needs it. But he already had that next item ready and waiting after that BKB.
He's just prepped. He's just out of control really. And I think the game's quite easy for IM now. They just back off, heal up, take Roche, and then push top really.
Going to force CGGC to probably have to play, go for those sort of like all-in plays, high risk but potentially high reward sort of moves, and one of them is going to be heading towards Roshan. They've got the minus armor thanks to the Slada. They've got these necro creeps plus the army from the Beastmaster. And IM don't seem too set up for this. There's Shadow Shaman back in the base healing up. The pings come out thanks to the Dire using that scan. They know this is happening, but they're going to be already there in time. Roshan down to 500 hit points. It goes down. And yeah, a nice little sneak there from Tiny and company as Faceless Void. Oh, he wanted to chrono there, but he wouldn't have caught anyone. He's losing a fair bit of mana. Thanks to those beautiful necro creeps. They get the stun onto Clinks as well. He needs to be able to get off that BKB, but he's so low at the moment. They bring him down with pretty much everything used, but that's well worth it, as he is most of the damage that IM have. Saying that, the Juggernaut has caught up quite nicely now, and maybe with the knowledge that CGC used a lot of their big ultimates, they might try and turn this around. Kinetic Field laid down, Juggernaut got the healing ward, throwing that forward. They get the shackles onto the Tiny, but everyone's actually starting to get a bit low on IM. They've got to get themselves out of here, saying Slardar, get some good toggles there. IO's the first casualty for CGC. So it was a Shaman for an IO, basically, at the end of that. Look at these illusions from Juggernaut. The Manta and the, I imagine it was a illusion rune. Yeah,
it must have been. But CGC's base, even though they've taken a favourable fight, their base is just in tatters at the moment. They lost a range racks doing that and nearly lost their second one. Yeah, there you go. They did what they needed to do there, though, to bring down the Clinks. To kill him, they have to raw him before he BKBs. Because the fight at bottom, they got the raw on him, but he popped BKB just before he got rawed. And so they're really lacking damage then. But if they get the raw off before that, they've got necro units, tiny combo.
Because of this, it looks like with the ultimate orb, I mean, Clinks could look towards a Skadi. Actually,
I think he just goes Lincolns,
Lincoln
in this game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to make. I don't. Wait, Skadi doesn't stack with Deso, does it?
Yeah, I think it does now. I think it does, but I'm not sure.
Desolator is a UAM and does not stack with other UAM.
But then Skadi stacks with lifesteal.
I think
I don't know. This game's got very weird because it all changes.
Now, Skadi is a unique attack modifier and does not stack with other UAMs. Skadi can be confined with lifesteal though.
Right, okay, there you go.
Yeah, I know. They changed things around and I feel like it almost made it more complicated.
Well, it's because they're trying to make the game more like continuous because a lot of the rules don't apply to everything, so they're trying to make everything match, but then people got used to the way it used to be, and then they change it, so it's just more confusing. Yeah, I think in this game that you just go for Lincolns, but it equally could be a Scythe. Because Scythe's a common 5 or 6 slot item on Clinks because it gives you the ability to just kill anyone.
Beastmaster on the sidelines, but they found this Tiny. Tiny does get the blink away just in time as Juggernaut picks up his Skadi while spinning. Winning. So if it's not a Skadi on the Clinks, there's a Skadi on the Juggernaut. Tank him up, slow people down through that BKB with his right clicks alone.
I think if he just goes for the Lincolns, it'll probably make this game a lot easier. I don't think they necessarily need the Scythe, they just need him not to be locked down.
I'll agree with that one as well, as this T2 in the top lane, the last outer tower that CGC had. Now exposes their T3 and Barracks in this top lane, and potentially Megas coming the way. And I think if Megas start coming out, CGC have pretty much lost this game.
especially with the Tiny opting not to go for the Ags this game.
Oh, they get the Hex onto that Slaughter. He was in a fairly unfortunate position. The Avatos, it's not going to be there in time. The toss actually doesn't get reflected in, and the Aegis is expended. The Roar, who's it on here? It's just a lone Faceless Void. Yeah, he's not going to be able to get his Chronosphere off. He does die, the Lich. Chain Frost bouncing around the Eye Tiny. He comes back for round 2. No BKBs on either of the cores on the Radiant and the Dire side now. There's a Tiny for an IO and the Aegis as well. Slardar, he's very low. He's still alive. Armlet toggling, trying to keep himself healthy here. Sprinting himself away. Just about survives. This T3 remains healthy for now. Beastmaster doesn't have Roar. Tiny doesn't have BKB anymore as the spin comes through. The blink from the Beastmaster just in time. Space created though. Fortification has to be used to try and keep this tower healthy. And Disruptor, no Static Storm. I don't know. Without these big ultimates on CGC, I'm not sure how they fight in. As look at this Tiny taking some right clicks thanks to that Bloodthorn, extra damage, and the crit as well. They just got to focus these melee barracks. They need to maybe focus them a bit more as the Avatos does come in. Klink's still alive for now, but look at the Juggernaut. They've ignored him. Yes, they get the Klinks. This Juggernaut finally can start showing what he's made of, throwing that Samurai Sword around. But it looks like they want to get out of it. The buyback from the Slardar is enough to deter them. And that melee barracks still alive as whoa! Juggernaut wanted to jump in, I think, to try and get that melee barracks, but it cost him dearly. Tiny using that BKB. Now down to 5 seconds, but finds himself another kill on that Lich. And that's a dominating streak going his way. I am not playing this quite as smooth as maybe they could have.
Yeah, just not enough restraint again. Same as last game. They just need to focus buildings, really. I don't think it matters too much, because CGC are just that far behind, and they don't really have the best tools to deal with like mega creeps and super creeps. But yeah, definitely sloppy.
Oh, really? Oh no!
And he's forgotten to take the Tiny.
Whoops.
We'll just pretend we didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, coming back from a 20k net worth and experience deficit is not easy.
Yeah, it's a tall order.
Kind of relies on IM making that same mistake again twice.
Yeah, I think even the amount of time that CGC have to hold out for, I think for them to be in with a chance is, I don't know how achievable it is really.
We're not going to count them out just yet. There is a Tiny.
No, for sure. They can definitely do it with this Tiny and an Eye. It's such a potent combo when you move into the late game with potential for pick-offs and the split push as well.
Hate to say the game is over, but we're just saying how far CGC have to go to be able to claim victory in this game. So we could be seeing a best of 3 as Klinks. Yeah, he's definitely going towards that Lincoln's. Just got to farm up another 300 gold. Which shouldn't take him too long, I would imagine.
I think what they do when Klinks gets the Lincolns, I think they just basically run top. Klinks pops his BKB and runs high ground, and they can't do anything.
Yeah, they don't have anything else that goes through BKB and apart from Raw, so that would be the idea. And without fortification as well, that's on cooldown for another 2 minutes. That sort of tactic can certainly work out.
Yeah, and if they're paying attention to the fortify cooldown, they'll know this, and they know that they'll know that they can just run top and take those racks.
There's that Lincoln's we were talking about. So Klinks, 4 big items now in his inventory. He could upgrade to BOTs and stuff, so he's still got room to grow as well, which is, I guess, the kind of scary thing.
I think they're probably hoping that the game will be over before he has to buy another item.
Yeah, I think you're right. We also saw a BKB just picked up on Faceless Void, but look, the Radiant, they're smoking up on the high ground. Maybe trying to make this a little bit trickier for them, but look at the Klinks go. He's going to go there. The BKB doesn't come out in time, and now he's locked down. He needs to get this off as quick as he can. Still on half HP. The Chronosphere catching out just as Disruptor. He already got his stack Storm off, though. And look at this tiny melt to the Klinks. They're focusing heroes and not buildings. There we go. Onto the buildings. Multiple buybacks. One from the Tiny, one from the IO. There's not one on the Slardar as he bought back earlier, so that's on cooldown. But there's the Megas. GG's just going to be called. There was no coming back from this. The Omni Slash bouncing around. Just added a little bit of insult to injury as a dieback from IO happens, but it looks like we're going to game 3, guys.
Yeah, and again, like what we said from the first game was if the draft's more even, I think the game will turn out to be quite a good one, and we saw it there. Just a deathball in Klinks, really. 22 kills, quite an impressive performance from him, really.
It's always exciting to see these sort of slightly more niche heroes showing what they're made of. This time it was the Clinks, and they didn't really need to face this Void. It was pretty much just the Clink show, I think.
Yeah, I think the Void was essentially just kind of like a meat shield for their team, really. He kind of just jumped in, chronoed people, and just kind of soaked spells on the whole.
I mean, Beastmaster did have a fairly good time showing how much of a strong hero he is. But this time, Disruptor just couldn't get as much done. IO Tiny versus the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut held his own very nicely with the help of the Lich as well. So
yeah, the laning stage went really well for the Jug. I think he should. I'm not particularly sure how a Jug matchup goes against Tiny IO, but I don't think it should be anywhere near as good as it was for the Jug, even with the Lich helping out.
Yeah, well played to him then as well. So yeah, so we're gonna be looking towards game number 3. So it is just a best of 3. It's great that it's gone down to this, so we get as much Dota as possible for this Gary Kimmelman Cup final. It's being held at PlayDota LAN Center in Vietnam. I'm not there, unfortunately. I'm just casting from home. I'm Zambrella, joined by Big Tits McGee. You can follow him on Twitter at Big Tits McGee. The I is a 1 in the big. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at Zambrella101. But don't go anywhere, guys. I imagine we'll be hopping into game number 3 very, very shortly.